Hey everybody, Nullface here in Eternal Evolution. It is Thursday, so we got a new patch today, some new events, a whole bunch of stuff going on. Probably gonna be a little bit longer video than usual, so I'll go ahead and make sure to add in some chapters so you can skip over the stuff that is less interesting to you. First off, we may as well start with the proverbial elephant in the room. Well, the Immortal update, right? Now we get more stats for EX talents, and honestly, I'm kind of in the middle about this change. I understand. Here, I'll bring them up. We can see. We get different stats here. You get offense and defense essentially, 5% at each rank along the way, and you get a little bonus to the damage early on, or sorry, damage later on, and a little bit of damage mitigation early, and then the talent at the end that doubles it. Is it harmful to the free-to-play players? Yes, 100%. It puts I won't say it's harmful. It widens the gap, right? There's already a pretty substantial gap. Honestly, it was very difficult to compete with Immortal 5 heroes anyway. It just widens that gap even more. So things like Arena, Summit, pretty much out. If you're free-to-play, low spender, there's just going to be no way you can compete with, what, 30% more damage and 30% less damage? That's in an arena setting, you can't really bypass that. In the grand scheme of things, though, I don't think it changes the outcome all that much. Yes, you could always get some good wins in, some sneaky wins with good team comps, better gearing, being smarter. It does make that more difficult, but the way I look at it, PvP is a crapshoot anyway. You got to get the RNG on your side. You can run the same fight a dozen times and get 50-50 results on it. It was really hard to beat the players with Immortal 5, EX30 on everybody anyway. This makes it impossible, but it was already very, very difficult, so I don't think it swings the balance that much further away than it was. That being said, I'm not advocating for it. I understand it from a business perspective. They want to give more incentive for people to raise heroes to Immortal 5 more than just the base stat boosts. Okay, I get it. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be hugely detrimental to the overall balance, but it definitely swings PvP much farther in the high spender favor, right? It already was, now it's undisputed. I think that's pretty much all there really is to say about that. We'll see how it plays out in the end. Regular arena was already, like I said, not a particularly fun game mode. And you just keep running. You run your 5, you get your diamonds, you move out. Galactic, as long as you maintained a decent rank, you got decent rewards at the end. I don't think that's going to be that much more difficult. And Summit was already dominated by the same half dozen people on every server every time. So it's probably not going to change the outcome too much, but in the middle ranks, it's definitely going to change things up a little bit. I think, and make it a little harder for people who have a few of these heroes. I'll say I'm glad they did them for elite heroes as well. So if you don't have lots of triple S, you can maybe come up with some interesting team comps that way and make your elite heroes even more resilient than usual. Hopefully we'll see some stuff come out there, some new ideas maybe. But in the end, I don't think it's going to change things a whole lot. But that's just my perspective. We'll have to see how things play out. So on to happier topics. Let's go check out the Easter events. Got a whole bunch of Easter events going on, and they're the type that I like in here. They're pretty fun. We got the Easter battle. Where's the rabbit? Which you just find 3 rabbits scattered about the UI each day. That one's fairly simple. Easter egg painter. We'll take a look at that in a second here. I am trying to spreadsheet that out a little bit because it's a very long duration event. And then, of course, double chips and the cash shop items. So let's take a look first at the Easter egg painter. I've got my second egg going right now. It'll be done in about an hour. I am hoping to be done with that, hoping to be done with the video around the same time. We'll be able to wrap all that up and maybe even sleep tonight. We'll see. Probably not, though. And as you can see, you've got the first one done, working on this one. Each one of these increasing costs for each of these items as it goes up. And then you can purchase them here in the rabbit shop. You get some coins through dailies, through achievements, and then whatever you can't get through coins, you can buy with diamonds. So I'm going to take a switch over here and look at the spreadsheet that I have set up for the total cost of this event. So I'm definitely not going to say that this is authoritative or correct in all ways. It's been a hell of a week, and I'm just putting this together, hoping it kind of makes sense. So I've laid out the costs for each of the eggs that you open. I obviously don't know the time of the future ones yet, and then the cost in terms of each of the paints, the polka dot, chevron, etc. for that. Laid out the total number you need of each one, the coins that it would take to buy all of them. You definitely don't get this many coins, and then diamonds for the rest of it. And I did try to factor in, if you look at the formulas there, the discount for the diamonds as well. Basically by just subtracting the discounted amount from the total. Now, if we look at, we got the event running for 7 days where we can get the coins from the dailies. I believe I got the count right, 460 from achievements. You get 140 coins just daily from logging in and doing the minimum, even if you don't place anywhere. The daily reward would be if you add in the ones that you get from your challenge attempts, wherever you land in the placement there. Like this is, I think, the third place one. I just use that as an example. I'll get 740. So that's about a third of the total ones that you would need. So that being said, if we subtract that out from there, you still need roughly 140,000 diamonds, and that's pretty steep. And that's also assuming that the completion time for the rest of these here actually allows it to be completed within the 20 days, which I don't know. It went from 1 hour to 15 hours on the first one. I'm kind of scared what the next one's going to be. I'm going to start that here pretty soon and let it run overnight. But the rewards are pretty good. The diamond cost is very high though, so we'll go back to the game, take a look through the rewards real quick, try to math it out just a little bit and see if in terms of the cash out prices, what the diamonds would cost as opposed to what you get from the rewards. All right, back here on the event, we see this first one is 10 limiteds, and we'll just focus on the main stuff. So 10 limiteds, another 10, 12, and 12 there, and here we start to get the gene hybrid frags. A Rickert, 30 yellows, 10 more gene hybrid fragments. The skin, 20 reds. Okay, the full gene hybrid, 24-hour boxes, soul potions, and a triple S mutation crystal. So in total, you get 44 limited, 2 full gene hybrids, a copy of Rickert, seems a little random, but it's fine. The Ravenna skin, 20 reds, 30 yellows, 1,300 talent potions, a triple S gene mutation crystal, and 9 of the 24-hour boxes. Now, if you exclude the things that just kind of show up randomly in packs, like yellow runes, talent potions, and the 24-hour boxes, I don't really know what the value of the skin is, honestly. But if you keep all that stuff out, I think based on the store right now, they're valuing it almost the same as a hero, or a hero copy, which seems kind of high to me, but just my opinion there. You're still left with about 300 bucks worth of stuff. And then you add the skin on top of it if the valuation is correct, 360. So there's a lot of rewards you can get in here, but it's definitely going to take some work to get all the way up to here. A lot of work, a lot of time. And I don't know how many of these acceleration things it's going to take because I don't know what the timelines are on these last eggs, right? We'll have to see. But I'm definitely going to try to push ahead in this and see how far I can get. It's fairly expensive, but I do have a lot of diamonds and I've been able to maintain my diamond stockpile. So if I need to burn some of them here and just scale back on the normal day-to-day stuff that I do for a little bit, it seems like a worthwhile trade-off because honestly, what am I getting out of DISA these days that's actually worth rolling up? Not too much. Shocking, right? So I'm going to push ahead in this event, see how far I can get. You know, hopefully they'll keep releasing some good codes. I'll definitely have the codes down in the description. And I will keep that updated when new ones are released as well. I know there are 3 out there already. They each gave some of the free paint, so that's good stuff. It all helps. It reduces the cost just a little bit. But overall, it seems like a decent event. The first few levels are definitely very accessible, and you get some limiteds out of it for not much investment. Not too bad. Not maybe quite as good a value as some of these things, but can't complain. So now we'll go talk about the Easter battles. 2 stages open today, so I haven't been able to figure out what the Circus of Idar is yet. But I got pretty good teams put together for the Running Lion and Bombland. Bombland is a little trickier, definitely. The Running Lion, the only thing you really have to worry about is Leo going to spin out of the way or out of your damage, and he does like to do that. Bombland was took a few more tries to get a decent team, but I got some pretty good results. You see both the teams around 26, 27 million. So good scores. Hopefully we'll be able to do something similar on the Circus, but go ahead and cut over to the runs for both these stages, and then we'll look at the hero builds once those are done. So first up, we have Pandemonium. Very, very good in the Leo stage. Does quite a bit of work in there. I'm saying a little over 3 million HP. I did try him in crit rate gloves. It was interesting. I wouldn't say it was amazing, but you know, it's fun. He doesn't really take any damage in there, so you can mess around with the builds quite a bit. Is running about 200 accuracy total, and the way I got there was by putting him in Hawkeye sets. So right now he's in full HP bottom row, just to scale that damage up, but so you can experiment with crit and stuff like that too. I did get a fair amount of crit in the substats, but you can toss some crit rate gloves on there for fun and mess around with that if you want to. He is EX30. That was something I did just today to try and max out the damage on the stage a little bit. But yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while. He has a lot of good uses in PvP, and he speeds up the tank bond. Right? He's the main damage source in there when you couple him with the commander, so not a bad thing to have. But he does quite a bit of work in there. Good bit of the damage along with that commander, so very important unit to have to try and tear through that stage. Next up is Nord. Honestly, I was already contemplating doing it before the latest changes. I think I'm going to slowly start to work Nord up to Immortal +5. He's one of only 3 heroes that I'm actually considering doing that with. It's Nord, Daniel, and Anpu. Is they're just everywhere in so many things that I feel like they could benefit from it. So maybe work on that over time, but for right now, he's in the exact same build that he was in the last video. Marauder, a Sun Signet, running crit rate, attack, bottom row. He's just there to do damage and, you know, be tanky and live and, you know, all those Nord things that he likes to do. He is EX30, and, you know, full talents, of course. All these heroes will have full talents, so I won't go over those on each one. Nord, you know, he doesn't actually get to group up any of the other vanguards, which is unfortunate. They're all CC immune, it seems, or at least to his CC. So that part of it doesn't work. But yeah, he still does damage, and that's really what you need in the end. Then we have Rez. Rez is Immortal +1 because you keep getting him from Galactic Arena, so he'll also, you know, make his way up through the ranks eventually. He is running full attack speed, so he's 350 attack speed right now. I guess I could technically trade out these pieces and put him in Zephyr for 390 and get just a little bit more out of it. Is there that helps him just regen his ult faster, and by getting the ult about the same time as the hero does the first time around, you can double ult pretty early, and you'll see the staggering coming up. It just works out pretty well in there. So he's running that build. Rez is EX20. Have not gotten 30 on him. Don't know if I will. Probably not anytime soon. But you know, he's doing his job pretty well at 20, and being able to trade out between light gap for PvP and, you know, attack speed for PvE. You get a couple pretty good builds in there and tailor it to the content that you're doing at the time. Then we have Ravenna, who does not have bunny ears yet, but hopefully soon. When I recorded the video, she wasn't hyper evolved. I decided to go ahead and do that because she's just a great hero, and I keep finding more and more places to use her, even where you wouldn't necessarily use Ravenna. She just pumps out the damage, so yeah, why not? Try to get her up for Twilight Bird stage next time. Hopefully get those things down a little more easily if she's a little better powered up. So she's hitting about 80k attack in Sun Signet and Overload with her talents. About 80% crit rate, a little over 300% crit damage, and almost 80k attack. So she's geared pretty well. I've tried to get her into sets like Surge, but I just don't have good enough Surge gear to compare to these pieces. So for now, she stays here. She is EX30. I like her EX30. It lets her scale a little bit better. You know, it starts to improve her crit damage and cooldowns, so it just scales her up. She really is a monster of a hero. Lots of fun to use. I love throwing her into teams and just seeing what she can do. So it makes great contributions in actually both of the teams that you're going to see today. And then we have Luke. Luke's actually running, or I'm running him in a crit build for this because these enemies don't have much defense, so we don't need the true damage to try and punch through them like you do if you're in late stage story or anything like that. So he's sitting about 76k attack because he is only EX20. I haven't gone ahead and made him 30. I could, but I'm saving that next 300 for something. I don't know. I'm a hoarder. don't hassle me. It's just how I do. He's definitely not a bad choice for EX30. I just haven't needed it yet, so that's where he sits. But still pretty good stats. He does a fair amount of damage, but really he's there for the debuffs mostly. His damage is kind of secondary. You want that defense reduction, even though there isn't much. And now that I say that out loud, maybe I'll try somebody who does more raw damage and see what happens. But he pairs well with the other energy heroes too, right? He gets all those Nord procs and gets to make pretty good use of that passive that Nord has for energy hero damage. So he fits well into the team also. And then we have the only change from the Leo team to the Bomb team is actually the use of Kain in there. Now, Kain is, an elite hero, but he can pump out some pretty solid damage. He is sitting at EX20. He gets used in a couple of teams, not a lot, but he does pretty good work. I have him in Overload and hero sets for particular reasons. Not like I'm trying to hit any breakpoints or anything. It's just what I had and what worked for him. But he's still able to pump out pretty solid damage numbers for an elite hero. I tried a few others in there as well. I tried Pregor, was kind of disappointed because hunters just aren't in a great spot right now. Old John actually did pretty well, but overall Kain did a little bit better. I tried Felvia. She didn't do as well. I don't know if it's just the gear that I had her in. I haven't re-geared her since her update, so she may need a little bit of tweaking there, plus she was only EX10. I used to use this guy in Crimson Rot, and he's also available to use in the Twilight stage with the energy blobs. He can do pretty good work in there. So a couple other places you can use him. He's definitely not a bad hero to build out. I did get him at least all the damage talents. But he does well. He does his job. Could stand to have a little bit more, crit rate, crit damage in there. But yeah, for the couple times that I have to bring him out of the vault, not too bad at all. Well, with that, I think we've pretty much come to the end of what I had for this video. Hopefully it's been helpful. I've certainly rambled long enough for everyone viewing here, but hopefully there's some good info in there. Maybe some heroes or teams that you hadn't thought of. I know the Leo team isn't original. I did use one or a similar one that Horizon had done a video on earlier, so credit where credit is due. That was a pretty solid team for that. And then the other was just some experimentation. But it's always fun in these events when you kind of play around and just retry and see what the best score is. Different combinations, different heroes that you may not have thought of using. I always like these, so I wish you all the best of luck in your events. Hope you are able to get what you're after. Gonna sit here, watch this timer tick down while I edit the video, and if it finishes before I'm done with the video, I'll drop a little note in there and we'll see what the next timer is for anyone else who may not be there just yet. So with that, thank you. Thank you for watching. Take care.